Welcome back to the show. You're going to love what we have for you today. You're not ready for what's coming. The demand for XRP and crypto is about to 1000x. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $4.14 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency, well over 4 trillion. It sneaks in and you don't even realize it, and the market's off zero point 0.7. Let's take a look at the numbers here. 115,000 plus for Bitcoin, 4,600 plus for Ethereum. XRP is $3.05. Now we're off 4% in the 24-hour because XRP pushed yesterday really, really hard. We're up 7.4 on the 7 day. Let's look at the range of price here. We went all the way up and touched 317, ranging between 304 and 317. We're on the bottom side of that range, but it's after XRP took a breath from pushing all the way up to that top side. So I think this is super bullish because this is happening over a weekend. Now we know what kind of good news we got coming, but let's get into this thing. Starting right here is Matt Hogan from Bitwise. And guys, I feel like Matt is one of the smartest guys in this space. We're going to be sitting down with Matt very soon. So watch out for that conversation when it comes. But let me just share this with you so you get Matt's overview of what's going on in the market right now.
There has been so much fundamentally positive news, and it's just been buried sort of in the background. We've caused ourselves to ignore it. There's the strategic Bitcoin reserve. There's the SEC pulling back on essentially every lawsuit. There's progress on stablecoin legislation. There's talk of market structure legislation. There was the White House crypto summit. These are game-changing positive developments that should put Bitcoin trading at $150,000 or $200,000 today. It's been suppressed because in the short term, this overhang of the economic uncertainty is weighing on the markets. I think if that is released, we're at new all-time highs quickly, and we're on our way to where I think we'll be at the end of the year, which is Bitcoin 200,000. So I think there's been this sort of suppression of really good news. If that suppression is removed, I think it's a coiled spring. So in that scenario, I think we do exceptionally well.
I think he makes a fantastic point there. Shout out to Matt. Let's keep moving here. Then you have this from Kathy Wood predicting 1 million plus by 2030. Let me bring it in where you can hear it.
Or Wells Fargo, or UBS or Wells Fargo, no platform has approved Bitcoin yet. So all of this price action has happened before they approve it. And so, we haven't even begun.
So what's your timeline for 1 million USD Bitcoin now? And is there perhaps a price target beyond that now?
Yes, our target is above that. We've got a 2030 target. So it's well above that. And with our new expectations for institutional involvement, the incremental price that we assume for institutions actually has more than doubled.
Your price.
There you have it right there. They're calling for more than a $1 million Bitcoin by 2030. Take a listen to this. Here's how we get there if it happens, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm particularly pleased with President Trump's support of my strategic Bitcoin reserve initiative, which will address our national debt while securing America's position as the global leader in financial innovation.
There you have it right there. President Trump is supporting Senator Lummis in the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. We know that they're also putting together a digital asset stockpile, which will include XRP and other assets as well. Look, if we're going to get to these incredible levels, it's going to take government adoption. Remember, we've talked about it. Crypto up until now has been a grassroots bottom-up movement. But the reality is legislation is about to make it such that we're going to see the top down come into this space. And that's how the internet first started, with governments and military and universities first. So this is coming back the other way. And when it does, it's going to be an incredible flood of liquidity on the institutional level. And what are they going to do with these high prices of Bitcoin? Take a listen.
Who knows? Maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand them a little crypto check, right? We'll hand them a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion.
But how do you
And here's how you do that. The only way to pay down the US debt with Bitcoin is to issue digital asset bonds for it and other digital assets like XRP, ADA, and XLM. This way, the US government acquire the assets through bond issuance, and it doesn't cost the taxpayer a penny. In fact, they profit alongside the US government, and it doesn't crash Bitcoin or other assets in the process because you have a natural rollover of these different bonds at different terms. So this is how you would do that. If you just wrote a $35 trillion check, you would crash the market. It wouldn't work. So this is how you begin to do those things, I believe. When are we getting legislation?
We did stablecoins first. The Genius Act passed. It's now law. And that provided the momentum we needed to do market structure. So the House passed a market structure bill. It's called the Clarity Act.
Right.
We in the Senate are going to mark up in the Senate Banking Committee a market. We did stablecoins first. The Genius Act.
Let's listen to that.
Market structure bill. It's called the Clarity Act.
Right.
We in the Senate are going to mark up in the Senate Banking Committee a market.
By Christmas, she's saying now. It was Thanksgiving. I think she's giving herself some room. I think it gets done by Thanksgiving. We'll see what happens here. But nonetheless, it gets done this year. Now figure that Clarity Act passed, signed into law this year. Now, unknown DLT asked a question. If all XRP ETFs are approved at the same time in October, they will push the price to such high levels, the institutions will be able to use it as a settlement mechanism just before the global implementation of ISO 20022. You're not prepared for what's coming. I agree with this. Then you see this. Here's the list of the ETFs that will drive massive amounts of inflows into the asset. Now, with that being said, we just had the first XRP spot ETF launched 2 days ago. Rex Osprey. What do you think the other 17 or 18 ETFs are doing right now? They're going crazy waiting for their turn. And in the next 4 weeks, we could see all of them approved. But it's up to the SEC to do it. And if they do, we are in such a tight window of so many positive things happening. Now, with that being said, don't forget here, Real World Asset Watch List says Visa and MasterCard are pushing for more tokenized payments to cut fraud and speed transactions. Tokenization is becoming the core of how money moves. Of course it is. This is where we remind you, Visa has acquired Ripple partner Currency Cloud. $930 million. Pretty sure they're going to use. Reminder of this. The inaugural set of partners includes CBDC platform Ripple. And this is for MasterCard. Everything is connected, ladies and gentlemen. Everything. They're prepared to turn this thing on and send enormous amounts of liquidity and utility across these new payment protocols. Don't believe it, it's still true. Ripple's Rail Financial purchase for $200 million. Remember that? Yeah. Well, don't sleep on it because they already process around 10% of all B2B, business to business, stablecoin payments. Imagine that. You get legislation signed into law and you're already settling, because Ripple now has Rail Financial, you're already settling 10% of the entire business to business market. It's quite remarkable. Then you have this. Majority of banks are ready for cryptos. Oh, really? Because I remember a charlatans out here who told us all that banks wouldn't offer crypto services. Now, Were they just wrong, or were they saying that so they could benefit for their own gain? The majority of U.S. largest banks have embraced crypto services. More than half of the 25 largest banks in the United States are now either considering or actively rolling out crypto related products. This is what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. The rest of traditional finance is about to get in to our world, and they're going to run it when they get here. Don't believe that. It is very true. And a final send off here to really put it home today. NASDAQ just filed its listing standards, and only 5 assets are explicitly named as qualifying. It's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and Litecoin. And here they are listed right at the bottom. You can see it right here. You see the XRP listed right there. So this is what is coming. The greatest injection of liquidity into this digital asset space has yet to happen. And we are absolutely so close to it happening. But it's going to require that Clarity Act be passed and signed into law. And then it's going to knock this world off its rocker. And here is what the chart looks like while we wait. Crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin on the 2-week time frame. Look at where we are. We're outside of this already. The question is where does it top out at? Where does it top out at? We're at 4 trillion plus. Does it top out at 5, 6, 8, 10, 12? I don't know the answer. But the fun of this is knowing that our bags are packed while we watch it happen. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll catch all of you on the next one.